Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to Fallout 3 Pacifism and More. I'm doing a short off-cycle episode as a sort of emergency warning to anyone who installed version 110 of the mod that it has a bug. I already uploaded version 120 to the Nexus, and a regular episode showcasing the features in that will be published here on Monday. Normally I'd just wait and talk about the fix then, but this is a weird bug that not only persists across save files and can't be fixed programmatically, at least not completely, but it can't even be fixed by uninstalling the mod. The only complete fix is to revert to a save file from before you installed 110, so I wanted to give you a heads up right away. So what's the bug and why is it so hard to fix? Well, what it is fairly easy to explain. Let's go talk to Moira. 110 was supposed to add a slight chance that vendors who sell miscellaneous items would have rad-scorpion poison glands. But when their inventories respawn, instead of a certain number of random miscellaneous items being added to their inventories which could include a poison gland, that number of glands is added. You see here, Moira has 10. The good news is weapons, armor, ammo, food and chems, none of that's affected, nor are any special items under miscellaneous, like house updates and schematics. She still has the Abraxo and other junk because any normal miscellaneous items that were already in their inventory when you installed 110 will persist until they're sold. But if we bought all the junk and waited until she restocked, she'd have nothing under miscellaneous except the upgrades and 10 poison glands. If you upgrade directly from 1.0 to 120, or if 120 is the first version you ever install, you won't have the problem. If you upgrade from 110 to 120, you'll get a warning message and a partial fix. Let me reload an old save that was made with 110 and show you the message. PAM version 110 had a bug which persists across save files, and this save file is affected. Any miscellaneous items in the inventories of general stores and junk vendors would persist until you bought them, but be replaced by rad-scorpion poison glands. This version of PAM restores normal miscellaneous items to vendor inventories, but they will always have a large number of poison glands. For technical reasons, the only complete fix is to revert to the last save you made before installing 110, after which you will not see this message and the mod will function as intended. Vendor inventories will occasionally spawn one poison gland along with other miscellaneous items. So why did this happen and why is it so hard to fix? Well, I take full responsibility because the idea popped into my head while I was playing last week. I added it on the spur of the moment and I should have tested more thoroughly before release. That said, the root cause is a bug in the API, or being generous, an undocumented feature. This is the code I showed you on Monday, where 110 uses add item to leveled list to add poison glands to the list vendor miscellaneous items, which is here. Unfortunately, adding an item to a list with add item to leveled list seems to overwrite the entire list unless the list has use all checked, which as you can see, vendor miscellaneous items does not. So, when any vendor inventory that uses this list respawned, instead of the desired number of random miscellaneous items, the game would add that number of glands. Even worse, items can't be removed from lists once they're added. There's no function to do that. And lists persist across save files, even if the mod is uninstalled, which is why the user will have the bug forever unless they revert to a save file they made prior to installing 110. The fix was in two parts. First, I changed the 110 update code to add glands to vendor lists that do have the use all flag. So if the first time you ever install the mod is 120 or higher, or you upgrade directly from 1.0, you won't have the issue. If you did install 110, it's a little more complicated. First, I added a variable skipped 110, which, like all variables, is initialized to 0. If the new 110 code runs, it means you're installing for the first time or upgrading from 1.0, so we set skipped 110 to 1. Then when the 120 update code runs, it knows whether or not it needs to work around the 110 bug. To do that, I made a copy of vendor miscellaneous items, APAM vendor miscellaneous items list, and if the 120 code sees that it needs to work around the 110 bug, it adds that copy to those same vendor lists. So at least vendors will resume selling normal miscellaneous items, even though they'll always have a large number of glands in stock. Then we show the warning message and take care of the actual 120 update. My sincere apologies for letting this one slip through. Hopefully you'll forgive me and come back to see those features on Monday.